Severing ties with individuals and circumstances is a notion that parallels certain Stoic beliefs. Stoicism, an ancient Greek philosophy, instructs us to foster inner peace by acknowledging the things we are powerless to alter and centering our attention on what we can modify. In this segment, we will explore the principles of Stoicism and see how they can be practically applied in the steps recommended for distancing oneself from people and circumstances. Starting with the first step, temporarily distancing oneself from the person in question. Stoicism underlines the significance of preserving our inner serenity regardless of the external environment. The initial step in distancing from someone is to temporarily step back. This is not an act of evasion, but a calculated strategy to obtain a clearer perspective and prevent our feelings from interfering with our discernment. The Stoic philosopher Cicero, in his correspondences to Lucilius, underscored the necessity of solitude to better understand oneself. He professed that one should retreat into oneself as much as possible, associating with individuals who are likely to enrich one's character and welcoming those whom one can uplift. It's a reciprocal process. As men educate, they learn. This implies taking a temporary hiatus to ponder on the situation and your emotional reactions. Stoicism advocates that our responses are within our command, and by creating some distance, we afford ourselves the opportunity to consciously choose our reactions. Allow yourself solitude to reflect on your emotions and thoughts. Utilize this time to objectively evaluate the situation, uninfluenced by immediate emotional reactions. Seneca's words encapsulate the Stoic conviction that self-awareness is the preliminary step to gaining control over one's emotions. Picture being in a bustling city where everything is loud and frantic. Stoicism proposes that in confronting challenging emotions or a bewildering situation involving someone, it might be beneficial to pause for a bit. It's akin to locating a serene spot in the heart of the city to regain your composure. Consider this hiatus as hitting the pause button. It's not about perpetually evading the situation, but more about affording yourself the space to contemplate without the constant hum of emotions. Stoic philosophers emphasized the importance of finding tranquility within ourselves. Seneca, one of these philosophers, advised retreating into oneself as much as possible. It's equivalent to taking a step back to gain a clearer view. Simplistically, it's like taking a timeout during a game. You don't abandon the game forever, you momentarily step back to clear your mind. Stoicism suggests that our emotions are transient, like the weather. By creating some distance, you're allowing the turmoil in your mind to dissipate, consequently simplifying the decision-making process. Remember, this step isn't about escaping, it's about momentarily hitting pause to find a serene space amid life's chaos. Stoicism advises stepping back because it recognizes that when situations become challenging, our emotions can act like a foggy haze that clouds our discernment. By taking a brief break, we can allow the fog to lift and perceive things with more clarity. The Stoic belief is that in this serene space, we can make choices founded on logic rather than solely on our emotions at that moment. Find a serene place or time, like going for a short stroll, sitting in a park, or simply spending some alone time in your room. The objective is to carve out a small space for yourself where you can think without distractions. Remember, it's not about permanent evasion, it's about creating a moment of tranquility to figure things out. The second step to distancing from people involves carefully pondering whether or not distancing is a logical and virtuous decision. Stoicism motivates us to align our actions with logic and virtue, emphasizing the pursuit of eudaimonia, or flourishing, via moral virtue. The Stoic theory of oikeiosis, which refers to the concept of appropriation or familiarization, implies that our inherent tendency leans towards virtue and social harmony. Nevertheless, not all relationships positively impact our moral progression. Stoics like Epictetus encouraged us to scrutinize our affiliations and make judicious choices. We may not have control over our external situations, but we always have control over our responses to them. Reflect on the essence of your relationship with the person concerned. Are they beneficial to your moral advancement and overall well-being? Stoicism conveys that distancing oneself from detrimental or injurious relationships is not an indication of frailty, but a demonstration of wisdom and virtue. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who was born a slave, embodied this principle through his emphasis on inner liberation, notwithstanding external restrictions. Imagine socializing with friends, and one of them starts behaving in a way that makes you uncomfortable. Stoicism proposes that just as you would select good friends, you should also contemplate whether it's wise to continue associating with this person. In layman's terms, it's like asking yourself if being around this person is contributing to your growth and happiness, or if they're making things more difficult. Stoic philosophers would label this as contemplating whether it's a prudent decision. Stoicism places great importance on choices that enhance us as individuals. Therefore, the idea here is to evaluate whether associating with the person in question is improving your life or making it more challenging. Stoics believe that good friends are like the sun for our souls, enabling us to become better versions of ourselves. Picture your friend as a plant. If you water it, it thrives and stays healthy. However, if you neglect it, it may wither. Similarly, consider whether the people around you nourish your growth or create hindrances. If someone's presence feels like sunshine, that's fantastic. If not, Stoicism advises you might want to contemplate creating some distance. Remember, it's not about being unkind or evading problems. It's about making decisions that benefit your emotional well-being and mental peace. Stoicism focuses on enhancing life's quality, and that includes the people we choose to associate with. The third step involves having a conversation with someone you trust. Despite Stoicism's emphasis on self-discipline and inner fortitude, it doesn't promote seclusion. Humans are inherently social beings, and seeking advice and support from reliable individuals is integral to the Stoic journey. In the third step of dissociation, the Stoic perspective encourages us to engage in candid and open communication with someone we trust. This aligns with the Stoic concept of the philosophical friend, someone you can confide your thoughts, fears, and struggles in. Seneca, in his correspondences, wrote extensively about the significance of friendship and its role in our quest for virtue. He expressed that the greatest blessing, next to sound judgment and a modest temperament, is a reliable acquaintance, someone akin to a mirror who can provide reflection. Share your thoughts and emotions with a trusted friend, someone who personifies the Stoic values of wisdom and virtue. This conversation serves not only as an emotional release, but also as an opportunity to gain invaluable insights and perspectives. Stoicism asserts that by opening up to others, we reinforce our social connections and cultivate a sense of community, essential components in our journey towards dissociation. Stoicism indicates that when dealing with challenging emotions or a perplexing situation, it can be incredibly beneficial to confide in someone you trust. Imagine this person as your wise confidant who can offer you sound advice. Stoicism strongly advocates the idea that we're not meant to confront everything independently. Just like superheroes have sidekicks, Stoicism suggests we should have our own, that you can confide your thoughts and emotions in. Stoic philosophers believe that sharing our hardships with a friend is like possessing a secret armory against life's difficulties. Think about someone you deeply trust, like a friend, a family member, or maybe even a teacher. It's akin to choosing your gaming partner when things become challenging. Share your predicament with them, whether it's face-to-face over a phone call or through messages, whatever feels appropriate. Remember, you're not imposing a burden on them, you're sharing the load. Just like a reliable gaming buddy, they might offer insights or perspectives you haven't considered before. Stoicism posits that confronting challenges with a friend at your side can significantly smooth out the journey. The fourth step involves setting boundaries for your emotions. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of understanding and managing our emotions. Instead of repressing emotions, Stoicism encourages us to accept and acknowledge them while maintaining rational control. In the fourth action of detachment, Stoicism instructs us to set boundaries for our emotions. This doesn't mean becoming apathetic or emotionless, but rather exercising control over the intensity and duration of our emotional reactions. The Stoic concept of apatheia, often misinterpreted as total emotional detachment, actually refers to a state of calmness achieved by mastering one's emotional responses. Epictetus, a notable Stoic philosopher, expressed this concept by stating that we possess the power to suspend the action of passions, or at the very least, resist our inclinations. Consider the Stoic practice of negative visualization, where one contemplates potential difficulties and losses to mentally prepare for them. By setting boundaries for our emotions, we can approach situations with a measured and balanced perspective, preventing emotions from overpowering reason. Envision your feelings as colorful blocks that sometimes accumulate and form a towering structure. Stoicism proposes that it's wise to set some rules for how high your tower of emotions can rise. In simpler terms, when dealing with challenging issues, Stoicism advocates that it's fine to experience your emotions, but it's also crucial to ensure they don't tower over everything, destabilizing your equilibrium. Stoicism perceives our emotions like those colorful blocks. They can be enjoyable, but if we stack them too high, things may become unsteady. The Stoic philosophers talked about finding a balance, like constructing a tower that's tall enough to pique interest, but not so tall that it topples over. Envision your emotions as different colored blocks, happy, sad, angry, and so on. It's like saying, I'm comfortable feeling these emotions, but I don't want them to take over everything. So you might decide that during difficult times you'll allow yourself to feel those emotions, but also maintain a limit, like a tower that doesn't reach too high. Setting limits means you're in control, like a builder deciding how high to construct a tower. It's about being at peace with your feelings, but also ensuring they don't topple everything. Stoicism educates us that finding this balance is akin to constructing a sturdy tower capable of weathering the challenges of the emotional game. The fifth step involves contemplating the potential outcomes if you distance yourself from this person. The fifth stage of detachment entails careful consideration of the potential repercussions of distancing oneself from a specific individual. Stoicism advises us to exercise foresight, assessing the long-term effects of our actions. Within the Stoic framework, this aligns with the concept of prosoph, or attention to the present moment. While Stoicism stresses the significance of the present, it also prompts us to consider the future consequences of our decisions. Marcus Aurelius the Stoic. Yourself a break, you'll return to the puzzle with a refreshed and clear mind. In the sixth step of detachment, Stoicism advises us to take a break from the constant stream of information and comparisons on social media that can draw our focus away from what truly counts in life. Even though Stoic philosophers lived in a world significantly different from ours, they too dealt with external influences that could disrupt their serenity. Seneca, in his essay on the brevity of life, expressed regret over the distractions that prevent us from living a fulfilling life. This Stoic wisdom can be applied to our digital world. The ceaseless bombardment of information on social media can distract us from our true priorities. The Stoic practice of apatheia becomes especially important here. By momentarily disconnecting from social media, we create an opportunity for self-reflection, reducing external stimuli that could contribute to emotional unrest. Seneca's counsel to concentrate on what truly matters is echoed in this step of detachment. Imagine social media as a challenging puzzle. Sometimes trying to solve it can feel overwhelming, like trying to piece together a puzzle with too many pieces. Stoicism suggests that it's okay to take a break from this digital puzzle to give your mind some respite. In simpler terms, it's akin to setting down the puzzle pieces for a while so you can return to them with a refreshed mind. Stoicism conveys that our minds, like our bodies, need breaks. Social media can feel like an endless stream of puzzle pieces, updates, pictures, news, and sometimes it can feel like too much. The Stoic philosophers propose that by taking a break from this digital chaos, we can maintain a clear and focused mind. Consider social media like a puzzle you're trying to solve. When it begins to feel overwhelming, it's completely okay to take a break. It's like setting the puzzle aside for a bit and doing something else. This could be going for a walk, reading a book, or just relaxing without any screens for a while. Stoicism suggests that by giving yourself a break, you can return to the puzzle with a refreshed perspective. Offering your mind a break ensures it doesn't get overwhelmed with too many puzzle pieces. It's about actively managing your digital time, just like choosing when to engage with a puzzle and when to rest from it. Bear in mind that it's not about entirely giving up social media, but ensuring that it doesn't become an overwhelmingly complicated puzzle for your brain. The final step in detaching from people and situations, according to the Practical Guide, involves a conscious emphasis on personal needs. Stoicism, with its focus on self-reliance and inner strength, aligns perfectly with this concept. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher born into slavery, highlighted the significance of differentiating between what we can and cannot control. In the seventh step, Stoicism urges us to focus on what we need, not in a materialistic sense, but in terms of emotional well-being and virtue. Reflect on the Stoic practice of voluntary discomfort, where individuals intentionally subject themselves to difficult situations to build resilience. Apply this principle by focusing on your basic needs for emotional stability and moral integrity. The Stoic maxim, "Virtue is the only good," reminds us that genuine fulfillment results from aligning our actions with moral excellence. Epictetus, in his teachings, succinctly encapsulates this Stoic principle. Happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle: some things are within our control and others are not. By focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, actions and reactions, we equip ourselves to navigate relationships and situations with Stoic wisdom. Imagine life as a buffet with a variety of options available, some desirable, some less so. Stoicism advises that when deciding what to include in your life, it's wise to concentrate on what you genuinely need, much like choosing your food at a buffet. Stoicism encourages wise life choices, similar to selecting the best items from a buffet. Stoic philosophers believed that our needs do not always align with our wants, so it's like opting for snacks that are beneficial for you, not just those that provide immediate pleasure. Visualize your life as a buffet, with elements like friends, activities and experiences laid out. Instead of grabbing everything, Stoicism suggests that it's wise to choose what truly satisfies you and brings long-term happiness. It's like saying, "I'll choose what's good for my heart and mind." Think about what you genuinely need for your emotional well-being and growth. It's like choosing snacks that make you feel good, not just ones that provide momentary pleasure. Stoicism teaches us that by focusing on what we genuinely need, we make our life more satisfying in the long run. In the journey of detaching from people and situations, Stoicism provides deep insights and pragmatic guidance. By temporarily stepping away, rationalizing distancing, engaging in open communication, setting emotional boundaries, pondering consequences, taking breaks from social media, and focusing on our fundamental needs, we align our actions with Stoic virtues. Stoicism, with its timeless wisdom, reminds us that true detachment is not emotional indifference, but achieving a state of inner peace and resilience as we navigate the complexities of human relationships and life's challenges. The Stoic principles serve as a beacon of inspiration, guiding us towards a life of virtue, wisdom, and emotional well-being. In the words of Seneca, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. In the midst of chaos and the numerous options life presents, it's crucial to maintain a calm mind and keep our digital time in check, just as when we decide when to engage with a puzzle and when to step away from it. The aim is not to completely abandon social media, but to ensure it doesn't become an overbearing mental challenge. The concluding step in distancing oneself from people and circumstances, as per the Practical Guide, necessitates a focused attention on one's needs. Stoicism, which promotes self-reliance and internal fortitude, is perfectly in line with this notion. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who was born a slave, stressed the need to discern what's within our control and what's not. In this seventh step, Stoicism encourages us to pay attention to our needs, not from a materialistic perspective, but in the context of emotional health and virtue. Think about the Stoic approach of voluntary discomfort, where people deliberately put themselves in tough situations to improve resilience. Applying this principle, concentrate on your essential needs for emotional balance and moral integrity. The Stoic saying, "Virtue is the sole good," tells us that true satisfaction comes from aligning our actions with moral superiority. Epictetus, in his teachings, succinctly conveys this Stoic principle. The path to happiness and freedom starts with understanding one principle: certain things are within our control and others aren't. Focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, actions and reactions, equips us to handle relationships and situations with Stoic wisdom. Visualize life as a buffet filled with various options, some appealing, others not so much. Stoicism suggests that when deciding what to include in your life, it's smart to concentrate on what you truly need, similar to selecting your meals at a buffet. Stoicism promotes making sagacious life choices, akin to choosing the best items from a buffet spread. Stoic philosophers believed that our needs aren't always the same as our desires. It's analogous to opting for snacks that are healthy, not just the ones that provide instant gratification. Consider your life as a buffet, with elements like friends, activities and experiences on display. Stoicism advises choosing only the things that truly satiate you and contribute to your long-term happiness, rather than grabbing everything in sight. It's as if saying, "I'll select what's beneficial for my heart and mind." Ponder over what you truly require for your emotional health and growth, just as choosing snacks that deliver a sense of well-being, not just those that offer temporary delight. Stoicism imparts that by focusing on what we genuinely require, we make our life more fulfilling in the long run. In the quest to detach from people and circumstances, Stoicism offers insightful wisdom and practical guidance. By temporarily stepping back, rationalizing the need for distance, fostering open communication, setting emotional limits, contemplating outcomes, taking breaks from social media, and focusing on our basic needs, we align our actions with Stoic virtues. Stoicism, with its ageless wisdom, emphasizes that true detachment isn't about being emotionally numb, but about reaching a state of inner peace and resilience as we maneuver the complexities of human relationships and life's hurdles. The Stoic principles act as a guiding light, steering us towards a life filled with virtue, wisdom, and emotional well-being. Seneca's words aptly summarize this. True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future.